Welcome to another episode of The Velvet Hammer.
And here we go.
Okay. All right, well, we have a whole list of topics that we could talk about. We don't want to talk about any of them.
Talk about it.
Because, sometimes in the practice of law, contrary to popular belief, there's a lot of elation involved. There's a lot of happiness. There's a lot of joy. There's, it's coupled often with exhaustion, but there's so much fun in the practice of law.
Yes, there is.
So Mo just came dancing into my office, and I was already happy because we just settled a case. All morning long. I've been in mediation, so Mo comes jumping in, and I'm wearing the appropriate shirt today.
What's the shirt say?
Disco. So he comes dancing, literally dancing in because the judge just slammed Amazon again for how much more in sanctions?
$50,000. $50,000
plus 34 is equal to
$84, 35, 40,
how much?
50, 55, 60, 70, 80. Sold for $84,000.
$84,000 they've been sanctioned. They've had to pay us in the past couple of months.
I mean, that's
way to hide the ball, Amazon. Just keep hiding it. Do you have a third motion coming?
Maybe.
Okay, I hope so.
Maybe.
Yeah, we have trial coming up in 2 months, less than.
Yeah. So okay.
Anyway, when you're this hyper, so what happens is we are not always sedate.
No, I mean, like right now, like how I feel is that, seeing a flurry of emails, going to court and winning, and the settlements, and and the clients are happy. You just I feel like this sense of I call it I'm in flow.
Yeah, firm settled a police shooting case,
yes.
Death case. They settled medical negligence case. Just got $50,000 more in fees.
Yeah.
All within 2 days.
Yes.
So sometimes when things like that happen, there's just moments of elation.
Absolutely.
Because we're just grinding all the time. We are just grinding. Our heads are down, and we're going like this. This is what we have to do because there's so many lawyers on the other side of our cases.
So I want to know what you do to celebrate. What do you do when you have a day like this?
I'm terrible at celebrating.
So what do you do? Do you go home and do you have a dessert? Do you go hang out with Elle? Do you go for a run? What do you do? Okay, so
this is a problem of mine.
Okay, what's the problem?
I don't celebrate.
Wait, so you don't celebrate at all? Right now, I feel like you're excited.
I'll never forget this. We had gotten Ride the Ducks case, biggest trial of my career, 4 months.
Uh-huh.
We get the verdict. They want us. They're threatening they're going to appeal it. Because there's not enough insurance money. Well, there is, but only for me. And there's some other people that haven't been resolved. David Benninger and I then get together, and because he's got the next trial of one person, and we start doing insurance bad faith stuff with them, which causes them to cave, and they're going to pay us. And I'd already gotten, in addition to the jury verdict, I'd already settled 2 wrongful death cases, and I had 5 other clients that hadn't been in the trial that I had cases for. So we settle everything. So we got the prior wrongful death case. We get,
all of it.
Over 90% of the jury verdict was paid to my clients. And David goes, "You want to go get a drink?" And I'm like, "No, I don't drink." Yeah. And he's like, "Well, you want to come celebrate?" And I said, "Well, maybe another day." That was 5-6 years ago, because that's not how I'm wired.
Yeah. I mean, I don't go out and drink.
I wish I could.
I mean, I don't do the drinking, celebrating. What I do is just I need to hug people.
But I think it's a good thing. So I think my way is bad. We've had a talk about the office. Paul and Keith, whenever they used to win a case, they took the whole office out.
Okay.
Mike is going to have some input here. They took the whole office out. Now, that was Hoquiam. There were 3 people in the office other than Paul and Keith. But they celebrated. I have introduced a culture of continual work to the law firm.
Boring.
Yeah, no, and that, when I started, that had already happened. That had already kind of started to wind down.
Okay, so not all my fault.
No, they had. I'm trying to remember if we did anything after the Magana case, but we didn't.
Yeah.
That was the biggest. That was right when I started at the firm, basically.
We
And
kind
then
of got
since
out
then,
of
we
it.
haven't had anything like that.
No, we just
Yeah.
kind of got out of the habit of it. And Denny's reinstituted like the quarterly celebrations of birthdays, and
Yeah,
there's some other stuff. But I've tried to delegate and say, like, I am just not good at this, because I am already thinking about the trial that you just got the sanctions on.
Yeah.
So even though my trial, I had a trial that was set for May 12th. So I should be celebrating, but all
Yeah.
I'm thinking of is, well, now I can stay in Hawaii for 4 more days, and now the paralegals aren't going to be so stressed because they can now focus on the Barra case. So, like, that's how my mind works. I'm just like, go. Now, that doesn't mean I don't celebrate. I believe that you have to enjoy life, especially when you're busy. So I have it all. It's just all, like, what am I going to do? I already bought tickets to go see Sinners tonight, which is supposed to be a great movie, at downtown SIF.
Okay, so you're celebrating. You're going to see a movie.
Tomorrow I'm going to go see my grandson play baseball. Sunday I'm going to go lay
what
out
was that?
eggs.
That's not baseball.
But yeah,
What it looked like.
Okay.
Okay.
But there's people that literally will go and celebrate.
Yes.
I think that should be done.
Well, I think there's a difference between like celebrating like quarterly birthday and just organic celebrating. And I think that we could do a lot better job at organically celebrating.
Yeah.
So like when you're in like the state of mind and mood that we're in, to just like grab people and go, shut down the whole office.
There's no one
Everybody,
here.
let's just go.
It's Friday. There's 5 other
there's
people here at
nobody
the
here.
office.
Well, you know, these are aspirations.
Yeah.
These are just aspirations. I'm talking like ideally it'd be nice to just do that.
But let me say one more thing.
What's that?
So the other thing is, I don't know that I'm a humble person. I don't think I really am. I am a little cocky. However, I'm humble about my role. And so my role as a lawyer is that I represent these people, and they all had something horrible happen to them.
Yeah.
So I view it as their case.
Yeah.
So we celebrated on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. You couldn't come, but we all went out with the Della Pena family.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we had a highway design case for them,
Yeah.
had a great result.
Yeah.
And it was I loved it because they had happiness. They felt vindicated. They told us what they've been doing. And that was so meaningful to me. When I do that with my clients, to me, that's the celebration.
Yeah.
It's kind of sedate, though.
Yeah.
I think that because we shouldn't be humble about what we do.
Yeah.
But there is this humility about me because I'm so focused on them, and then I'm focused on everything else. I'm a workhorse. You know that. The
Yeah.
firm, everybody in the firm had a role in
Yeah.
these cases that are getting resolved. It's not just a lawyer in this firm. Like, there's a huge contingent of team members that involve every single person in the firm has touched these cases and are essential to the cases going forward. So by not celebrating the victories, I'm not celebrating the firm enough. I believe that.
Well, that's good that you're acknowledging it. Now, what are you going to do
But
about
I've
it?
acknowledged this for like 3 years. I've told people that if you guys haven't noticed, I am not good at celebrating.
What are you going to do about it?
I've delegated it, but nothing's happened.
Okay, what are you going to do about that?
I don't know, Mike, suggestions.
Mike, thoughts about celebrating?
I mean, who did you delegate it to? That's
Denny.
the question. So, I mean,
Cass. Then there was like a celebrations committee. Nothing.
There was a
And they-
committee.
and they don't exist anymore. So, I mean, it's hard to say, but I think you're right in that the firm needs to acknowledge the rest of the people because you went out and celebrated with your clients and some of your team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that the frontliners, the people that they know.
Yeah. But it is important for the rest of us
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I work on every case.
Every case.
Every case that the firm does, I usually work on something. It's not always a big part.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a very small part.
Yeah.
And Shelley works on every single case and works in a big part for some of those cases.
Yeah.
You know, Denny works over all the cases because he's managing everything.
We got
So
to do a better. We got to do a better
that
job.
needs to be recognized too, but it's not just that. It's everybody as the whole firm as a team
Yeah.
needs to celebrate together.
Yeah.
And
I'm deficient as a leader.
I think that needs to be worked on more in a way.
I do too.
You know, because we have, Christmas, we have, we haven't had a summertime one in a while, but we used to do that too, where we'd have a summertime gathering.
I thought we did one last year.
I was in the hospital.
Oh, we did have
You
one.
did. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's important, and it doesn't have to be right like doing it today just because the stuff happened today. It doesn't have to happen, but there's no reason to say that you can't do it next week or the week after.
I totally agree. We gotta make somebody listen to this. We need to have somebody listen to this podcast.
Yeah, we need a little bit. Like, I don't want this feeling to go away, and I want to just share it with everyone. Like, I want to like infect an environment with this feeling.
You know, we struggle. We struggle.
I mean that in the most positive way.
We struggle in the law firm and have with because people work so hard and are so burnt out, and then people misunderstandings happen or people aren't happy. We spend a lot of time and we've devoted a lot of resources to figuring this out. We hired a coach. We've really done a lot of work because we don't want to be the kind of place that just has a lot of hard workers. We want to be an environment that people actually feel good about working here. Like, we don't want to be an Amazon. We don't want to be, you come in, you clock out, and you don't like what you do, but you take the paycheck and go home, and it's miserable. We want to have this happy, healthy environment, and yet, we have some work to do. But anyway.
Okay.
So that was 15 minutes of our half an hour time. Well, but we do need to celebrate more.
I agree. I think that it's hard to take this topic and kind of like provide like a structured conversation about it because we came in here and we were just in a feeling. And we were just sat down. We're like, what do we want to talk about? We're like, let's talk about how we're feeling right now. But I guess like, I think I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but like, how do you deal with the defeats? Like,
no, I don't want to talk about that right now. Mo, where's my button? No, we can't talk about that. We'll talk about that another time.
Okay, all right, we're not going to talk about that.
Why don't you guys talk about how you feel right now? Because Mo, you've touched on that a couple of times now, and I think this doesn't happen all the time. We spend a long time working on cases, sometimes years, and some of them the end isn't happy, like you said, but right now it is. So
I'll
talk about that.
From my perspective, I've been calling him Moody Hamoudi ever since he confessed that he's Moody Hamoudi.
I'm Moody Hamoudi.
Because he's been like, so he's been kind of Moody Hamoudi, and I'm like, but yeah, he's been bouncing around just so joyfully. This is just, there's a lightness of being. Lightness. And it comes with what we do, that it comes at the expense of a defense lawyer's ego. We are happy when we are crushing a defense lawyer and their insurance company. That makes it so different than just being happy. Like, I'm a happy person to begin with.
Yeah.
It's different when you get that feeling. So let me give you another example. This has been a very good week.
Yes.
So I set up these, same case, Amazon case, take the defense experts' depositions. They've been taking ours, and they take forever. In fact, the one of them, I told the lawyer that her questions were interminable. Anyway, so I had the defense economics expert going to take his deposition, and I had only reserved an hour. They said, can you take his deposition an hour? I said, yeah, no problem. Well, it took me 35 minutes. Kristen was in the deposition watching it, and she was giddy. She was laughing so hard because I had that guy up. If I was Muhammad Ali and he was whoever the unfortunate guy was on the other end, he was like in the corner up against the ropes, and I was just pummeling him.
Down goes Liston.
And she was laughing so hard because it literally took me 5 minutes to just get him right back in there. Yeah. He's like going like this the whole time. And I was done in 35 minutes.
In and out.
In and out.
Yeah.
And then, so that made me very happy. So then Mo went to court today against the same lawyers.
Yeah.
And I told him, what did I tell you to do?
She told me, she's like, you got to troll them, basically. So the guy who represented
Remember,
Amazon,
horrible defense
guy.
economics
I was
expert.
I heard you had Milton Friedman talking about microeconomics, and some guy who was like outstanding with the numbers and incredible testimony, and it was titillating. And I was like, I mean, I just gotta say, like, I mean, it's incredible. Can you refer him to me? And he was sitting there kind of shaking his head because he knew. He knew Kohler.
The guy was just
sassed
like,
him.
the guy was so pummeled. I was like, yeah, I'm going to strike your answer. Yeah, that was totally non-responsive. Can you not understand the English language? I mean, I was brutal. Anyway, yeah, so he goes after them, and then they get sanctioned for $50,000.
Yeah, and then so our sanction had to do with them not cooperating and giving us information that was super important to the case. Again.
So, but this is like a serious wrongful death case.
Yeah.
It's a very large case. We have hundreds of thousands invested into it, and we are having so much fun. This is what we love. And so when he came dancing into my office, was it because of the victory? Yes, but it's so much more than that. It's just not the actual, that thing that happens with the judge's order or whatever. It's the fact that we are poking him in the eye, that we are, they have 15 lawyers and we have not as many lawyers, but still a lot, and we are killing them.
I mean, not only killing them, is that the client was there.
Yeah,
she was happy about it. It's like controlling everything on the case. We are in control of the case. And I got to tell you, like, how does it feel? My favorite feeling is when I am in control in a courtroom. Like, I can tell that I have the clerk, I have the bailiff, I have the court reporter, all like focused. That is like my favorite feeling. Yeah. And like this case, we're and that's why, I didn't tell you this. Afterwards, I went up to him, I said, you do not want to see us in this courtroom at trial. You go tell your client that. You do not want to see us in this courtroom, okay? You go tell your client that. All right? And he was like, okay.
Yeah, whatever. A lot of people think it's the verdict or it's the result, and it isn't.
No, it's
so.
the fight.
I mean, it is the fight. It's knowing that you just danced in the courtroom. The most fun, the happiest I was in the two big verdicts that I had, Ride the Ducks, and then the Simon case. The verdict, honestly, was a little shocking to me to hear it. And in fact, Ducks I never really comprehended because it took her an hour and a half to read through it. And Andrew was adding everything up, and I was just sitting there, in a coma. It's the moments in the trial where you know that you just did something beautiful.
Yeah.
Or that the jury finally got it.
Yeah.
Like you can tell, like, I know the jury got it.
Yeah.
Or your client says to you, I feel heard. Those are the moments that mean the most to someone like me, at least. It's not that I don't care about the verdict amount, because that's very important for them in particular. But for me, it's all the other stuff, if that makes sense. So like we get to this point on this case and it's wrapped up or whatever, and I don't celebrate the big victories.
Yeah, I get it.
I need to do better.
Yeah,
Everybody needs to help. I'm telling you, I'll go, but I'm not naturally good at celebrating.
Yeah, I don't do that either. I tend to not celebrate wins just because, I don't know, I've always felt that takes away some of your power.
Well, it's what we set out to do. Like it's like was what we were setting out to do.
Yeah.
It's a fatal flaw. I need to do better, but I've delegated that, so I need to see what's going on with that. So anyway, the lesson to be learned on this very short podcast, because we did it, I wanted to do it in 30 minutes, was just just the fun involved in what we do. Today was just it's just been a fantastic day.
Good times. These are the good times.
Well, that's all for today.
Until next time.